The Pogsters, episode 31. Welcome back, guys.
Welcome back, everybody.
Hope you guys had a good week and weekend. We certainly did.
We sure did. I want to say, though, I have to say, right now, I'm hoping that people are listening to us while they're on the shitter.
Why?
Just because I think it's the best time to really listen to us. And it's like the first thoughts that come into your head are whatever they're listening to at the time kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, I kind of usually start my day with listening to something that'll I can either, shower to and listen to while I'm getting ready for work and stuff like that.
So you're saying we're easy listening?
Yeah,
It'll get your digestive
that
tract
people
going.
are listening to us around that time. It kind of gets their day going.
Well, this episode will certainly wake you guys up. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So I'm going to jump right into it because we
Okay.
have Texas elections for governor and Senate.
Yeah.
And when it comes to governor, they're doing debates and stuff, and that's good enough, I guess. But when it comes to the Senate, first off, I want to say to the candidates, we get that you all are crooked politicians, and you take money from lobbyists and politician friends, etc.
Right.
It sucks, but fair enough.
Uh-huh.
Here's the thing. You guys and your commercials, stop making this sandbox bullshit, because we already understand, Will, that you don't like Gina, you think Gina is stupid, and Gina and your women for voting, we understand that you think Will is stupid, and that Gina should win.
Yeah.
We don't give a shit. Here's what I want you guys to do. I want to hear what you actually stand for, and what your plans are, and how you're planning on getting your plans through.
Yeah, I really wish that these political ads would really focus on what these representatives will do for us.
Right. And not just go with this whole I promise to work for my constituents. Promise. What are you going to do for us? What are you going to do? And how are you going to get it done? That's what we want to hear from you guys.
Exactly.
We understand that if you thought that some other candidate was good, you wouldn't be running.
Right.
And the scariest and biggest thing is you guys, the voters. Please, I couldn't care less if you're voting Republican, Democrat, or Independent.
But educate yourself.
Yes, stop being so ignorant. I'm so tired of this country and its ignorance.
But, is ignorance bliss?
No.
Okay. Why?
I don't think so. Because ignorance just feeds real stupidity, and stupidity is really at the end what drags this country down. The dumbest comment I heard today, or this week actually, not today, was that I don't care who wins, but we can't get any socialism because then we're all gonna die.
What?
First off, to the idiot who said that, we're all gonna die regardless of what political system is in place.
Right.
Unless I missed something with USA, I thought people die every day in every country, in every nation of the world.
Wait a minute. I'm just trying to understand or wrap my brain around the fact that this person thinks that if this country reforms to socialism, we're all gonna die?
Yes, we're all gonna die.
Oh, wow. Okay. And what in their minds would think that we would die because socialism would be in place?
Probably because some staunch old conservative Republican told them that.
Right.
Remember way back when what's her name ran for vice president? The Alaskan one?
Yeah. For some reason, her name is slipping my mind right now. But I know who you're talking about, and everybody should know, at least who we're talking about.
Well, and I think it comes from the fact that back then they were saying that socialized welfare in Canada have grandmas on death lists. It was somebody pulled a really stupid statement out of their ass, and I think that's what lingers on.
Wow.
But people, please, whatever system you want, whatever politician you're going to vote for is good enough for me if you have some sort of valid statements of doing it. If you want to vote anti-socialism, that's fine. If you say something like either, I'm a spoiled brat that was born with a silver spoon in my mouth, and I've been working hard to amass the wealth I have, and I don't want to share with anybody. I think that if you want what I have, you should just go out and get it. Or if you want to say that I don't like socialism because I really like being overworked and underpaid, I certainly don't want any benefits that are worth having, and I don't want any vacation, and I don't want money in my savings, and I don't want to be able to retire safely. If that's are your standpoints, go for it. That's fine. You sound stupid, but at least you have some sort of point. But when you pull, we're all gonna die out your butt.
You better back up that statement.
Not just back
Or
it up.
just
It's like,
be careful about how you choose your words.
well, where did you get it from? And you claim to have education. What kind of education did you get? You spent
Right.
$200,000 on coming up with one stupid blanket statement like that? Let me tell you guys, stop voting for the guy that screams USA, USA the loudest and makes a thumbs up. There are plenty of good things in this country, but let's face it. The things we're number one on these days is obesity, diabetes, having the lowest education of the Western world, having the lowest income standards of the Western world. It's nothing to laugh about. It's true. It's sad but true.
You said diabetes.
Yes.
It's got
It's
diet in it,
serious.
so it must be serious.
Yeah, but those are the things really today that the U.S. is number one on. Stop thinking that we live back in 1950s.
Yeah.
For instance, U.S. isn't the number one manufacturing country in the world anymore. It used to be.
No. It's not.
We don't have the best work to income ratio in the world.
Oh, definitely not.
Norway does. Realize that the rest of the Western world has some sort of socialist government behind them. I'm not talking communist as in North Korea communism. I'm not talking bread lines in the USSR. I'm talking about the basic idea that everybody pitches in with money. And I know that a hated word in this nation is taxes. But here's the truth. A high-tax country like Sweden, where we have free higher education and healthcare,
Uh-huh.
have way higher taxes, and people shit their pants at hear taxes. But if you actually take into account what we hear gets taken out of our paychecks in terms of taxes, of healthcare, of 401ks and all that, we're paying just as much away from our gross pay as the
Right,
countries that have
and-
higher taxes, but we don't get anything
Yeah, we're
for
not
it.
benefiting from it.
No. And on top of that,
Barely benefiting from it.
well, if you're a somewhat healthy person like me, I'm not benefiting from it at all, because basically if you include the deductible in my healthcare, I would be paying away $3,000 plus every year before anything kicks in for me. That's a lot of money for nothing.
It is.
So we're not the greatest nation when it comes to stuff like that.
It just doesn't
you
add
guys-
up. It doesn't make sense.
No, but with other things too. These countries that have high taxes and high sales taxes, guess what? The cost of a hamburger or the cost of food in the grocery store is equal to the U.S., if not cheaper. And that's including the sales tax.
Yeah, I was just going to say that's including the
Yes,
sales tax.
that's including
of the
that.
item.
That's like when if you go to the grocery store and you look at the receipt afterwards. These countries aren't paying more for their food. These countries aren't paying more in rent to rent an apartment or
And I have
housing.
to say, these countries also regulate the types of food that you're putting into your system. You
That
know what
too.
I mean?
They're also not number one in obesity and diabetes.
Right.
So,
and you know what? They regulate the hell out of food and say, hey, corn syrup isn't any good for people to ingest, so
Right.
let's ban it from our country.
right, and the people are healthier. They're on less medicines than here. We can go on. You have more vacation time in those countries. The people there have the time and money to have real vacations to travel abroad, to the United States, for instance, and spend money and come back and still have a savings account. So I'm not telling you to vote for any sort of socialism, but
No.
to make a claim that you die if there's socialism in your country, that's so ignorant. And I mean,
Yeah.
really, I don't understand what you guys are talking about. The average cost of some sort of education, which you guys claim to have, is $200,000. But statements like that doesn't make you sound educated at all. It makes you sound like you ditched school from 8th grade forward.
Yeah, definitely. If you're going to speak out, know what you're talking about.
Like I said, go vote conservative.
Don't sound ignorant. Don't
No.
make yourself look like an ass in front of people.
But that's what you guys do. To wake up and say, I mean, there's so much wrong with stuff like that. And same thing, please realize this whole freedom isn't free. The United States isn't a free nation because you send little boys halfway across the world to fight countries that you have no business being in to begin with. And you think that that causes the U.S. to be free. The reason the U.S. is free is because people want democracy within the nation, and there are no other nations on this planet that want to invade the U.S. to begin with. It has to do with the location. It would take way too much money, manpower, by either boat or flight
Right.
to invade.
Yeah.
No one is interested in coming here, even if you weren't sending a bunch of people where they don't belong. Number two, there's too many people here, and the rest of the world knows what crappy economy situation people are in here, that nobody would want to invade the U.S. and then try to fix what's wrong in this nation.
Yeah. I have to say, for instance, back in the day, people could come over to the U.S. with like a $5 in their pocket, and then they end up building an empire or something like that. You can't even do that these days.
No. I mean, seriously,
It's
people.
impossible.
I know that you're being toted around with this being the greatest nation in the world. And it is a great place to live, but there's plenty of other places that are equally good or better. So, go out there and vote. Vote for what you want, but make an educated decision.
And make your educated statements when you're stating facts, please.
Yes.
I mean, when you spout out stuff that isn't true,
Well, that completely doesn't make sense.
and that doesn't make sense, that's like a Trumpism.
Well, it is, and it's the same thing with that's a good example too. That would be for us to say that Trump is in charge, we're all dying. It's not true. For most of us in our daily life, whoever is president doesn't really affect us that much.
It's what party is in power, and it's what their interest is.
Right. But even with that, on your daily basis, regardless of who's in power, your daily life won't change that much. But please
No, it
educate
won't.
yourself
Yeah.
on what you're doing and what you're saying. Because ignorant statements like that it's laughable. And I'm sure that we're going to get some trolls after this broadcast.
But bring it, because
Yeah, bring
I
it
want
on.
to see what you have to say.
Bring it on, but if all you have to say is go America and Trump, don't bother. Try to at least
and I
be
have
clever.
the right to own guns.
Yeah, you have the right. It's your amendment. Your constitutional right. So we don't all
Yes.
die, because we would all die if we didn't have guns.
Oh my god, people that have this fascination with guns really irks me. It's insane. almost, I think. The people have collections of guns. What are you shooting at? That's what I want to know. Okay, so deer season happens like once a year. Maybe go out dove hunting some other time of year. But you don't need some automatic rifle to keep in your house. I just don't understand that.
I don't get the fascination, but I think it has to do with the fact that we live in such a fearful society.
Yeah.
It probably makes people feel secure even though they're not. Because I'm willing to bet that even the guy with the biggest gun collection that has it stored properly won't be able to bring out his automatic bazooka when the burglar attacks.
And you know what? I just had a realization about the whole socialism thing. Maybe that person, because who that person is, they grew up back in the 60s and 70s, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Jonesboro. Didn't that guy preach about socialism?
Well, socialism and communism, but it's the same thing.
But the thing is that socialism was dramatized by this guy, and he was a bad guy because everybody drank his Kool-Aid.
Oh, you talk about Jim Jones?
Yeah, Jim Jones, Jonesboro.
Right, but I mean, I don't think...
So what I'm saying is that this person is thinking that socialism's bad because this crazy nut was talking about socialism and praising socialism and trying to create this community of
But Trump is nuts too. Are we going to say that capitalism is all bad just because of Trump?
Right.
Or should we actually get some sort of
what I'm saying
education?
is that person probably thought that socialism is Jonesboro, and so that's what she meant, or he meant by saying that that socialism is bad. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess, but still, educate yourself. I mean,
Yeah,
do you
but
really
I'm
think
just
that
saying
Bernie
that
Sanders is going to
some
take power and
people
have...
don't take these educated
No,
statements
because the education system in this country sucks, I guess.
Yeah, but
Do
what
you
I'm
really
saying
think
is
that Sanders is
they
going to
don't
take
think that
power
they
and have
to be
everybody drink
educated about
the Kool-Aid? I mean, fuck, dude.
Yeah.
Get a real education.
Also, the other thing that I have to say about this is that your perception of something isn't fact. Sometimes I catch myself thinking that my perception of something is the right way to go about things, and sometimes if you just stop and look at the situation in a whole, it's like, oh, okay, this is what I was thinking, but this is what's actually going on. I get it now. You know what I mean?
Right, but you gotta stop and think. Like you do. You said that yourself right now.
Yeah.
Sometimes you stop and
Yeah,
think.
and see, a lot of people don't do that.
No, so get with it. Stop and think for a second.
Yeah. Stop and think. So, well, now, hopefully you're listening to us right now on the shitter. And so you're stopping and thinking about your perspective on things.
Yeah, hopefully right now is when you take that big dump and you have a moment to
We're
let this
stirring
sink
up
in.
your brain right now, stirring shit up.
Whoop, whoop. Well, moving on.
Yes, moving on to, speaking of shit, bullshit of the week.
What's that?
My bullshit of the week are these parents that give their children a little too much freedom.
Uh-huh.
Because so far, from what I've seen, and I'm not a parent, but if I was a parent, social media would not be spoken of in this house.
Okay.
I know that sounds a bit outlandish, but it's so funny that society today is just based off of social media and stuff. what was it? We were at the grocery store the other day, and this girl was like, "Oh, I don't have a Facebook account." Blah 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 blah. She was the bagger. The guy that was checking us out was like, "Yeah, well, it's on Facebook or whatever. You got to get in this chat." And I was like, "Yeah, okay." So I like to interact with these kiddos because I find it hilarious, and it always gets me going as far as podsters go. So the girl was like, "No, I don't have Facebook." And I was like, wait a minute. You don't have Facebook. So let me guess, you have Snapchat and Instagram. And she was like, "Yeah." And I was like, I'm too old to deal with that shit. I just do Facebook. And the kid that was checking us out was like, "Yeah, most old people use Facebook." And I was like, "Fuck you, you little shit." In my mind, but I didn't say it. I just gave him a look, and I was like, I laughed it off because I'm the bigger person here.
Right.
But what I'm saying is that, like, a lot of parents and children kind of disagree in the fact that, some parents want to monitor their kids' usage of social media. And they want passwords and stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, that's great. That's great that the parents are telling the kids, if you want this stuff, you're going to give me the password so I can monitor whatever you're doing. Because there's so much that kids can get into these days with social media. It could, turn into something where they eventually commit suicide because it's been done.
Oh, yeah.
There's, sexual predators on social media that will reach out to your kids, and you never know. So I understand the parents' argument and the fact that if you're going to do this, then you have to give me your password.
Right.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts. And some parents that I've heard talk about this issue kind of get worried because the kids are defiant in the fact that they don't want to give up this information. And I'm like, oh, no. There's no. You don't give them the option to not give you that password and stuff like that.
Right.
No. If it were me as a parent, I'm giving you a phone, and I know you're gonna be on Facebook and crap like that, right? But you're gonna give me those passwords. If you don't, then I'll just take back that phone and get my money back.
Right. If you didn't pay for it yourself.
And there's a lot of, and the other issue too is that there's a lot of parents that have grown children at home.
Yeah.
And their grown children are like, "Hey, I'm 18. I can do whatever the fuck I want. I don't have to listen to you. I can come and go as I please. Even though I'm still in high school, da-da-da-da-da. I've got my driver's license. You can't take that away from me, blah, 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 blah." No. That's
one.
Don't give your kids the option to even rebel against you like that, because you know what? You tell your kid, you get a driver's license, you're going to pay for insurance. How are you going to get that money for insurance? You're going to get a fucking job.
Right. I mean, until you're paying for your stuff yourself, it's not yours. So parents, don't be wusses about it.
Yeah. Stand up to your children. It's not the end of the world if you take their driver's license away. It's not the end of the world if you take the phone away. Don't give them the option to run all over you.
That, and also I think this whole social media and internet, as good as it can be,
it is very harmful.
Well, I think society today on a whole is so desensitized that it's almost scary. I had that conversation with someone earlier in this week, actually, that today anything is a click away.
Yeah.
And we're fine with it. Like, now, let me tell you, I don't think music or video games create all the bad stuff in the world. But it's funny how we as a society as a whole has grown so accustomed to crazy stuff. And I mean that as in, like, for instance, The Purge.
Too much of anything is bad, pretty much.
Right, but I think we're there.
Yeah.
In terms of, for instance, 30 years ago, a TV series like The Purge would not have been on TV.
No, definitely not.
It would have been a horror movie that a few select would have seeken out to watch.
Right.
And the few select that sought that out to watch would have been deemed misfits. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not mainstream.
Right.
The whole zombies. Today, big companies have this whole prepare yourself for the zombie apocalypse.
Oh
It's
my
become so
gosh.
mainstream.
That is so mainstream, and it's so funny that you say that it's mainstream because we had a meeting the other day, right?
Uh-huh.
And our icebreaker was, let's go around the room and tell me who you would take with you if you had to go through a zombie apocalypse.
Right, but
And it's like, wait a minute. And it's so funny because we brought this subject up. You know, people were like, oh, guns. I've got tons of guns. I'll have a fortress with a bunch of guns and stuff like that. And other people were like, well, I just have my family with me and we'll probably just die together. And I just thought it was so stupid, the fact that we're even having to discuss this. I made light of the whole situation and I was like, well, I'm going to have my friend Jack, Tito, Jose join me in this zombie apocalypse because I know I ain't going to survive at all.
right,
But I might as well feel good going out.
right, but it's so crazy how all that has become mainstream.
Yeah. I
Like-
mean, it comes into the office.
Like I said, I don't think that kids playing video games necessarily spawn school shootings and stuff like that. Normal people can handle it, but it's just weird how we've gone from. There's this great clip, of course, we can't link it because it's all in Swedish, but from the mid '80s, where the concern was this crazy heavy metal music and bands like Kiss and Wasp and how they were destroying the youth. And I mean, people were seriously concerned about this. It was a big deal. It was an issue. Whereas today, Kiss plays the Macy's New Year's Parade. I mean,
Yeah.
but
They're singing Jingle Bells with Lady Gaga.
right. But I mean, when did all this become accepted, cool, and normal? I mean, we're pushing the limits to what's being exciting and forbidden so far that I definitely think that some adult supervision for kids on social media and what they're doing online is needed.
Yeah, definitely. And those of you that let your kids just run rampant and play video games, you know, day and night, or they're on social media day and night and not you know, watching over them. I mean, there's a lot that can happen to your kids. And the reason why we're talking about this is that we want you to be safe. Take care of yourself, basically.
Please do.
Please. So
that's the bullshit of the week.
That is the bullshit of the week.
Nice. And last for this episode, we have, we're in almost 3/4 of the year.
Yep. Oh
So
my
we're
God.
coming up close to the whole, last year, remember, we did the shittiest company of the year?
Uh-huh.
I think so far this year, the award, unless something radical was going to happen here in the last quarter, will go to AT&T.
AT&T.
AT&T, you are fucking horrible.
What is that?
Oh, for so many reasons. First off, I get it. It's not a whole lot of competition when it comes to cable TV,
Yeah.
especially not out here. I think we have, 2 companies?
Yeah, pretty much.
It's AT&T and Spectrum. We haven't tried Spectrum. But first off,
Isn't there Dish or something? But then
well,
AT&T
yeah,
owns,
that's kinda cable.
owns Dish or something.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah. Yada yada yada.
yada, yada, yada. But here's the thing, AT&T. First off, why can't you give us fair pricing online? You have to call and fuss and fight with people before they can even give you the cost of what something is going to cost. Number 2, your customer service is fucking atrocious. We decided, well, here's the thing. For a couple of, how many channels? 10 channels maybe? They're like basic package.
Yes, they're very basic packages,
Yeah.
is what we had.
Yeah. That came out to be $30 a month for like 10 channels, ABC and some of the other ones.
And we only watch like PBS and ABC pretty
Right.
much.
So there's other options out there today. In case you guys didn't know. Sling TV, for instance. You pay less and get 40 plus channels that are actually good channels.
Yeah, decent channels, I have to say.
Yeah. So with that, I was going to call and cancel our cable TV. I had to call 3 times.
3 times?
Yes. The first time they were... I get that, and here's another thing too, AT&T. It's not customer service to have people repeat the same shit over and over again. And I understand that the people in customer service there are heavily scripted. They have to go through the script.
And they speak the Queen's English.
I guess. Well,
Okay.
part of the Commonwealth's English, at least.
Okay.
Which is annoying in itself. But the real annoyance there is really that they have to go through the script that is 10 minutes. It's almost like they try to bore you out to not quit.
Right.
And
that's a very good tactic
It is, but the first time...
on their behalf.
The first
but
time it was
sucks
10
as
minutes.
being a customer.
The first time it was 10 minutes going through that, and then, of course, they were going to transfer me to the correct department, and they hung up the call.
Oh.
The second time I called, I had to go through all the same bullshit again.
And it usually takes you about 15 minutes to get to that one person that you really need to talk
right,
to.
but this time around, I got through the same first interrogation. The Spanish Inquisition was done, and then they were going to transfer me, and I guess they just put me on mute or something. So I was on mute for another fucking 5 minutes before I hung up.
Did you hear them talking?
No, because
Oh.
I was on mute, but they didn't transfer. I could hear that they didn't click me over to another department. Third
Okay.
time I called, I was really short with them. And each time they try, oh, so what can we do for you to have you keep our TV? I'm like, fucking nothing, because I called last weekend, and that's when you said that there's nothing you can do for me. So I have another option. Just get this to cancel. And then it took 20 minutes trying to cancel it, and you're through the Spanish Inquisition. Your company fucking sucks. And I hope that someone working for AT&T hears this. Or even better, we're going to make this little snippet and send it to the CEO of AT&T. Because seriously, right now, you're on my worst company of the year list. And you're probably going to win the gold prize.
Wow.
Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed today.
I hope you enjoyed every minute of it and hope you had a good shit. I hope we stirred some shit up. And don't forget that you can always contact us at...
Several options. You can leave a comment here on YouTube or SoundCloud. You can go to Facebook, search for the Podsters, and leave a comment there. Or you can send us an email at thepodsters@gmail.com. And that's the Podsters with a Z. Till next time, guys.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.